ਲਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕੋ ਇੱਕ ਚਮਕਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਸੇਵ ਮੋਰ ਲਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਲਿਮਿਟਿਡ। ਪਿਛਲੇ 21 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਮਸ਼ਹੂਰ ਸਪਲਾਇਰਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਚ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡਡ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੋਲਸੇਲ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਖਰੀਦ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸ਼ੈਂਡਲੀਅਰਸ, ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟਲਸ, ਸਪੌਟ ਲਾਈਟਸ, ਗਾਰਡਨ ਲਾਈਟਸ, ਪੈਂਡੈਂਟਸ, ਵੈਨਿਟੀ, ਆਊਟਡੋਰ ਲਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਇੱਕੋ ਛੱਤ ਹੇਠਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਾਜਿਬ ਕੀਮਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਖਰੀਦ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਰੇਟਸ ਫॉर ਬਿਲਡਰਸ ਐਂਡ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਰਸ। ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਸੇਵ ਮੋਰ ਲਾਈਟਿੰਗ, ਯੂਨਿਟ 137, 12639 80th ਐਵਨਿਊ, ਸਰੀ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਅਲੀ ਕਨਾਨੀ ਆਰਥੋਡੋਂਟਿਕਸ ਦੇ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲਿਸਟ ਹਨ ਜੋ ਹਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀਆਂ ਦੰਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਲਵ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਆਰਥੋਕੈਡ IQ ਦੇ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਗਾਈਡਡ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਟੀਮਲ ਬ੍ਰੈਕਟ ਪਲੇਸਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਮਿਨੀ ਸਟੇਨਲੈਸ ਸਟੀਲ ਬ੍ਰੇਸਿਸ, ਗੋਲਡ ਬ੍ਰੇਸਿਸ, ਕਲੀਅਰ ਬ੍ਰੇਸਿਸ ਤੇ ਇਨਵਿਸਲਾਈਨ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਵੀ ਉਪਲਬਧ ਹੈ। ਜੇਕਰ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਚਬਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸਪੀਚ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਜਾਂ ਐਬਨੋਰਮਲ ਬਾਈਟਸ ਹਨ, ਤਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਅਲੀ ਕਨਾਨੀ ਕੋਲ। ਕ੍ਰੀਏਟਿੰਗ ਬਿਊਟੀਫੁਲ ਸਮਾਈਲਸ, ਇਲਾਜ ਕਰਾਓ ਤੇ 에ਅਰ ਮਾਈਲਸ ਵੀ ਪਾਓ।
Hi, welcome back to the Harpreet Singh Show, and you're watching Tania's Truth Talk. I want to thank you all for your feedback from last week's show. Some's been good, some's been bad, but keep the comments coming. Today we have an amazing guest with an amazing story. He is a known author. His name is Bijan Ilyaie. He's the author of Journey Back from Ixtlan. He's also a recording artist, and he's here today to share his story and his journey with you. So welcome to the show, Bijan.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
French,
for
so I
having
can
me.
pronounce that part. So a good friend of mine, Marika Stewart,
Yes.
who is an amazing
She's amazing.
Christian recording artist,
Yes.
and I really do need to get her on the show. I did a music video with her.
Wow, great.
She's a very talented woman.
Yeah.
And she told me about your story, and I was like, I have to get this guy on the show.
Actually, she was one of the first readers of the book, the draft of the book, the manuscript show. So, yeah.
Oh, wow, really, eh? So you have a little bit of an interesting background. I was reading a bit about your testimony, and I was kind of thinking, this is quite interesting. So in your background, you actually kind of come from and you're a former atheist.
Yes.
Or you
can
were an
say
atheist.
that.
So what is your background like? Share with me that.
Well, I'm originally from Iran, and all my life, since I was like 8, 9 years old, I was very interested in spiritual things, mysticism, even darkness had a very interesting, attractive thing for me.
Okay.
And so I started studying, reading books about spiritual things happening around the world, and mystic religions around the world, from India to Africa to South America. So I started reading different books, and actually when I was about 17, 18 years old, I decided to give my life to spiritualism, actually, completely.
Okay, so you were an atheist. So I
Yes.
find it kind of interesting how you were an atheist, yet you were so interested in reading all these books on spirituality.
Well, actually, I was, that's very interesting, because deep inside, I knew that there is
Something.
a higher power in the world that I couldn't name it God or whatever. Some people call it nirvana, some other people in different religions, they call it different names. But I wasn't totally against the concept of God.
Okay.
So deep inside, I wanted to know if there is a purpose behind this life. That purpose was the God that I was looking for, actually.
So you were seeking truth, and you
Yeah,
were studying all
exactly.
these different religions. Were you into black magic as well?
Yes, actually, it's a long story. It's in my book, and I was into sorcery, summoning spirits, and getting guidance from spirits, which I didn't know in that time that
satanic.
who they are. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I used to think that they were like higher beings trying
Right.
to connect with you, contact with you.
So
and
what type of experience did you have when you were experimenting in black magic? The reason I ask you this is I have a little bit of a parallel there because years ago when I was a madam, I also ran a psychic shop. And I was involved in black magic and putting spells on people and reading the tea leaves and tarot cards and things like that. And so I find this kind of interesting that you bring this up. I've had some bad experiences from putting spells on people, and I definitely believe it is satanic now that I'm a woman of faith and a follower of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
What can you tell me about that? Like, what was your experience there?
Well, as I was saying, when I was 18, my father was a very influential person in the Ministry of Defense. So he found me a job when I was 18.
What's the Ministry of Defense?
Ministry of Defense in the government.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So your father found you a job in the Ministry of Defense.
Yeah.
And you transferred, you were getting into the black magic.
Well, actually, I met with a group of people, young people, rebels. Gang, actually. They were into all drugs, selling drugs, and they had houses for rich people who, like, you know, using as prostitution house.
Like house brothels, micro brothels type of thing. Is this back in Iran?
Yes, back in Iran. After the revolution, 1979 revolution. So we got together, we had one interest to know the truth, but in fact we were looking for the truth and light in the darkness. So,
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So we had a field outside of the city, and we had lots of marijuana plants, and we, you know, produced hashish.
Was it legal to grow that stuff?
It was illegal, but it was
illegal.
hidden somewhere inside the field. So we had everything we wanted, everything we thought that we, you know, that was the paradise.
Drugs.
Everything.
Yeah.
And we had a small vineyard, and we had our own wine production line, actually.
You had it all?
So, yeah. You know, a bunch of so-called intellectuals, you know.
So you were involved in a lot of criminal activity, to some degree, really.
Well, I was more friend with them.
Okay.
I wasn't involved in
doing that
because it was very bad for my reputation as someone who was working in the Ministry of Defense.
Okay. Yes.
So yes, during those time with those gang, actually, I came across a writer who was actually, some people say that he was the beginner of New Age philosophy, Carlos Castaneda.
Okay.
And I became familiar with Yaqui shamanism.
Okay.
Which is, they have their own belief system, and they have some techniques to practice to be able to reach to the other side and opening gaps between the words. And I didn't know that those words are worlds of demons.
Like
actually.
a demonic realm that you were going into. So this was kind of like the black magic that you were getting into, because there's different areas in that.
Yes, at the same time, because we were experimenting everything that we could. We mixed all different drugs together and used. We mixed all different ingredients together to put spell on people. We did actually animal sacrifices. So everything was mixed.
And it's kind of, you know, people that get sucked into this black magic because it actually does work.
Yeah, it works.
You know, it works. And some people that get into this, they don't realize how dangerous it is. And you can do black magic and good things can happen, but, you know, in my opinion, it's Satan that is manipulating the
Exactly.
situation, and people are doing good, but they're actually doing evil.
Exactly.
And so in your case, you were, I guess, searching for truth. You were thinking, this is actually working. And
Yeah.
so what would you say that it was that was to the point where you're doing all this black magic, you're doing all the stuff that's
Drugs
working,
yeah.
and you've got these brothels in Iran and people growing dope and wineries and stuff, and according to the world, you're probably ripping it up and living it up, right?
Yeah.
So what was it that made you actually just turn away from that and start to even get interested? How can you go from black magic and then finding Jesus?
Well,
How does that happen?
It's a very interesting
Because
story.
if
as
it was
I told you.
working,
yeah.
then why would you have
Well,
looked somewhere else?
Yeah, the
know?
point is, when you are in those kind of stuff, after a while, in the beginning it gives you a good feeling.
Yeah, so true.
But you're opening a gap.
Well, you're
to
opening the
those-
realm for the demons
for
to
the
literally
demons,
come in. Yeah.
And actually, because of those depressions, drugs, and everything, that I was looking for the truth, but I couldn't find it. I tried every door. So finally, I was so depressed that I decided to commit suicide. I did it twice, but it didn't work. I swallowed up 50 pills, 50 very strong pills, but I just slept for 2 days.
Yes.
So there was someone who didn't want me to die. He had a plan for me, so he brought me back to life again. After I came back to my city, my own city, Tehran, I decided to broaden my knowledge about spiritualism and maybe search for other religion or mystic thing.
I'm going to have to cut you off right here because
Sure.
I know what you're doing now is quite a 360 that this guy has done in his life. You want to come back after the commercial break, and you don't want to miss this.
ਉਹ ਨਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤੀ ਅਤੇ ਐਲੀਗੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਤੀਕ ਹੈ। ਅਸੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਉੱਚ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਸਟਾਈਲ, ਕਲਰ ਅਤੇ ਟੈਕਸਚਰ ਦਾ ਸੰਮੇਲ। ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਿਸਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਣੇ ਹੋਏ ਸੋਫਾਜ਼, ਲਵ ਸੀਟਸ, ਬੈੱਡਸ, ਅਪਹੋਲਸਟਰ ਬੈੱਡਸ, ਚੇਅਰਸ, ਸ਼ੇਜ਼, ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨਲਸ ਅਤੇ ਐਕਸੈਸਰੀਜ਼, ਕਸਟਮ ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਪੀਸਿਸ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਜਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਮਾਣੋ। ਕਾਲ 1866 842 6824